Diving to the deepest ocean, these divers made some truly shocking discoveries. They captured animals, recorded creatures, and found things that should be considered a treasure. So tag along to watch the deep sea footage that no one was supposed to see. Deep underwater, divers found something eerie. Skeletons lay scattered across the seabed, looking strangely untouched, like they had been frozen in time. As they swam further, the sight became even more unsettling. Then they saw it, a sunken submarine covered in layers of marine growth. Inside, more skeletons sat in their places, their empty eye sockets staring into the darkness. A lost city might have once stood here, but what was a submarine doing in the middle of it? Some believe deep waters have a power, a force that pulls things down, trapping them forever. Maybe this place was proof of that. Antikythera wreck. Sea creatures aren't the only things that capture human curiosity. A team of divers exploring the waters of Greece uncovered incredible artifacts and human remains at the site of an ancient shipwreck. The wreck, dating back to 60 BC, is known as the Antikythera shipwreck, one of the most valuable ever found. Among the discoveries was the arm of a bronze statue, covered in barnacles after centuries underwater. Scattered across the seabed were jewelry, pottery fragments, and other relics, perfectly preserved by time. Experts continue to study the site, using advanced diving and imaging technology to reveal more secrets hidden beneath the waves. Sunken sculpture realm. As the diver neared the seafloor, his lens was clouded with dust and bubbles. For a moment, he could barely see anything, but as the water settled, his eyes widened. Right in front of him was a structure, one that looked like a doorway leading somewhere unknown. What he saw next left him speechless. Surrounding him were sculptures of humans, frozen in place. But this wasn't some forgotten ruin. He was at Museo Atlantico, Europe's first underwater museum. Located off the coast of Lanzarote in Spain, scattered across the seabed were over 300 life-sized sculptures, each telling a silent story. Manta ray's greeting. At San Benedicto Island, a group of divers spotted a massive shadow drifting through the water. The movements were slow, smooth, and effortless. Then it got closer. A giant manta ray. Its huge wings moved with perfect grace, almost like it was flying underwater. Most sea creatures keep their distance, but this one didn't. It glided toward the divers as if it knew they were there. Manta rays aren't just big, they're smart. They recognize faces, remember encounters, and sometimes they even seem to enjoy meeting us. Abyssal encounter. Deep in the ocean, a diver's light cut through the darkness as he searched for wreckage. Everything around him was still, but then something moved. At first, it was just a shadow, barely noticeable, but as it drifted closer, he realized it was too large to be a fish. Long, thin tentacles slowly uncoiled, floating through the water. Then he realized the truth. It was a kraken, the legendary sea monster sailors feared for centuries, known for dragging ships into the depths. Before he could react, the tendrils reached for him. This was the last thing his camera captured, and then no trace of him was found, as if he had never been there at all. Reef giant. While diving near the seafloor, a diver came across a giant. It wasn't a shark, it wasn't a whale, but it was huge, a fish bigger than him. As it glided, he noticed its massive size and striking features. This wasn't just any fish. It was a humphead wrasse, also called the Napoleon wrasse, a creature as fascinating as it was imposing. Its large hump and shifting colors made it look almost otherworldly. As one of the largest reef fish, its presence means the ecosystem is thriving. Old ruler. Deep in the ocean, where light barely reaches, two divers noticed a strange shape moving in the darkness. As it got closer, they realized it wasn't just a rock or a shadow. It was a skeletal structure, unlike anything they had ever seen. Its ribbed body stretched far with a skull-like head. It had twisted appendages extending as if frozen in time. It looked ancient, almost unreal. Legends speak of leviathans, giant sea creatures lost to time. Could this be proof they once existed? Or was it something even older, a creature long forgotten, waiting to be uncovered? Mysterious reef visitors. An underwater explorer got more than he expected during a routine dive. He had set up a camera to capture the beauty of the ocean. As he stood there, unaware, something huge passed behind him, not once, but twice. He had no idea at the time. But later, when he reviewed the footage, he couldn't believe his eyes. Two massive creatures, with long necks like something straight out of a dinosaur movie, glided past him. How did he not see them? He knew he had to go back. The plan was simple: return to the same spot and see them for himself. But the ocean doesn't always give second chances. Humpback's close call. A diver in Norway's Arctic waters was focused on filming a pod of orcas when something massive broke the surface just yards away from him. Before he could react, a humpback whale surged toward him, its huge mouth wide open. The orcas had rounded up a massive bait ball of small fish, and the group of divers had unknowingly drifted right into the middle of the hunt. For a split second, it looked like the humpback was coming straight for them, but just before reaching them, it scooped up its meal and disappeared back into the deep. It was an unbelievable moment that could have ended very differently. Banned sea discovery.
I'd really like to see what's on that second camera.
On March 6, 2013, a deep-sea expedition in the Greenland Sea took a turn no one expected. As the submarine explored the icy depths, a sudden impact shook the vessel. At first, the crew thought it was a large fish, until webbed hands pressed against the glass. The figure outside looked almost human, but its features were off. It didn't try to break in. It looked like it just bumped in. Then, just weeks later, on March 27th, authorities suddenly banned all expeditions in the area. That's when the theories started flooding in. Was it a mermaid, an unknown deep-sea species, or a life form never seen before? Tiger shark, standoff. Not all animals are afraid of humans. In fact, some are just as curious about us as we are about them. That's exactly what happened to a diver during an unforgettable encounter. But this wasn't a playful dolphin or a harmless fish. It was a tiger shark. It didn't just swim by and disappear. It circled him again and again. These sharks are among the ocean's most powerful hunters, and getting this close is rare. They usually keep their distance, but this one was interested. Moments like this test a diver's nerves, and he handled it perfectly. Great white surprise. A salvage diver in South Africa had no idea he was moments away from a terrifying close call. He was posing for a picture when, out of nowhere, a massive great white shark approached from behind, its mouth opening wide, just inches from his face. In a split-second twist of luck, the diver tilted his head down at the right moment, and the shark's bite barely missed. Instead of grabbing him, it brushed past and slowly disappeared into the depths. If the shark had truly wanted to charge, it could have. Maybe it wasn't hunting, it was watching, but it's not safe to get too close to them. Eel's hidden watcher. Coral reefs are known for their beauty, but they also hide watchful eyes within their crevices. A diver at Amphora Beach, Sharm el-Sheikh, hovered near the reef, taking in the view, when he noticed a slight movement. At first, it blended in perfectly, but then two unblinking eyes locked onto him. It was a moray eel. These eels are experts at staying hidden, with only their heads peeking out as they observe their surroundings. Their sharp teeth and snake-like bodies make them look intimidating, but they prefer to keep their distance, unless provoked. Giant jellyfish drift. The waters off Cornwall are teeming with marine life, but some encounters stand out. While diving near Falmouth, a diver spotted something unusual drifting nearby. It moved gracefully, pulsing through the water, but it was far larger than expected. She had seen jellyfish before, but never like this. This one was different. It was a barrel jellyfish, the largest species found in UK waters. But even for its kind, this one was massive. These jellyfish are usually rare to spot, especially at this size. Seeing one up close, that's a sight few ever forget. Curious whale calf. A boater, enjoying the vast open sea, decided to take a swim. But as he floated, he realized he wasn't alone. Rising from the depths was a baby whale. Even as a calf, it was already 3 times his size. It swam closer, curious, studying him the way a child might inspect a new toy. But then, he noticed the mother. If it had felt threatened, one flick of her tail could have sent him flying. But it didn't. It simply lets them share the moment, as if it understood that curiosity isn't just a human trait. Massive moray reveal. Coral reefs are full of life, but some creatures prefer to stay hidden. A diver was exploring the reef when a mouth suddenly appeared from the coral. A massive eel, its head thick and powerful, slowly emerged from its hiding spot. Moray eels are masters of camouflage, spending most of their time wedged between rocks, waiting to strike at passing prey. Seeing one out in the open was rare, but what made this moment even more incredible? Its size. Larger than most eels spotted in these waters, it was an imposing presence. Yet instead of retreating, it simply watched. Cleopatra's Lost Palace.
The big surprise for the team and me this season was the discovery of the wreck in the port of the island of Tyrodos.
Diving into the waters off Alexandria, a group of explorers stumbled upon an incredible sight. Beneath the waves lay ruins, remnants of a lost world. As they swam closer, they realized what they had found: the submerged ruins of a palace and temple complex, the very place from which Cleopatra once ruled. Scattered across the seabed were massive limestone blocks, toppled by earthquakes and tsunamis more than 1,600 years ago. This site, hidden beneath the waves for centuries, held the secrets of Egypt's last dynasty before the Roman Empire took over in 30 BC, a kingdom buried beneath the sea, yet still whispering its story to those who dare to explore. Whale-shark encounter. The ocean is full of breathtaking sights, but it's also home to giants that command respect. A diver had a rare encounter with one of them. Not a great white, but a whale shark, the largest fish in the ocean. It wasn't just swimming past, it was standing vertically in the water, perfectly parallel to the diver, mouth slightly open as if inspecting him. But he was smart enough not to panic and handled the situation, knowing these creatures can sense fear. Baltic Sea anomaly. Spaceships aren't always in the sky. One might be resting at the bottom of the Baltic Sea. At least, that's what many believed when ocean explorers made a baffling discovery. In the summer of 2012, a team of Swedish treasure hunters stumbled upon something strange on the seabed. Using underwater radar, the Ocean X team spotted a massive, circular structure 90 meters below the surface. It wasn't just its size that stood out. The edges were straight, the corners sharp, completely different from the natural seafloor around it. Scientists are still debating what it could be: a crashed UFO, an ancient building, or just an oddly shaped rock. Buried in depths. An explorer was diving when he spotted a rusted metallic object sticking out of the sand. When he reached for it, he also noticed more rusted rods and a chain. It wasn't just a single piece of metal. It was part of something bigger. He carefully pulled it out, trying to make sense of it. The pieces looked random at first, but then he recognized the shape. It was a swing. But wait, a swing? Underwater? It looked like it had been buried in the sand for years. How did it end up here? People often find shipwrecks or lost artifacts in the ocean, but a swing was a mystery no one expected. Aquarium encounter. Scuba divers at the Dubai Mall Aquarium were exploring the marine life when a massive shark suddenly fixated on them. It moved closer, staring them down with an unsettling intensity. One of the divers later described it as a moment of sheer uncertainty. This wasn't just any shark. It had one eye, deformed gums, and jagged, protruding teeth, giving it an eerie appearance. As it swam just meters away, the divers remained still, gripping a rock to avoid drawing attention. This was a sand tiger shark, an endangered species. While its presence was rare, it was a reminder of how these creatures continue to survive in a changing world. Nightmare lurker. During an underwater expedition, a diver spotted a creature that looked straight out of a nightmare. Large eyes, sharp teeth, and spines running down its back. Its long tail moved like a serpent in the water. For a moment, it seemed like an ancient, dragon-like being. But then, he recognized it. It was a marine iguana, a species found only in the Galapagos Islands. These unique lizards are the only ones in the world adapted to life in the ocean, diving deep to graze on underwater algae, a true reminder of nature's incredible ability to evolve. Abyssal giant.
Last week, myself working alongside Edie Widder caught the first ever footage of a giant squid in US waters, the second time this has been recorded worldwide.
A research team in the Gulf of Mexico had been reviewing hours of deep-sea footage with little to show. Then, out of the darkness, a giant squid appeared. Its long tentacles moved slowly, its massive body barely visible in the dim light. It was only the second time a giant squid had ever been filmed in its natural habitat. But the surprises didn't end there. Just 50 meters away, a water spout formed, forcing the crew to stay alert. Despite the chaos, they had captured it. Proof of a deep-sea giant few have ever seen alive. Petrified Titan. Divers exploring the deep-sea floor stumbled upon something massive, hidden beneath layers of seaweed and debris. At first, it looked like a boulder, but as they got closer, they saw the outline of legs. Huge, unmoving, and covered in marine growth. It was a giant crab, completely petrified. Its massive claws were frozen mid-motion as if trapped in time. The scary sight left them wondering how long had it been there, and what could have turned this once living creature into stone. Deep-sea specter. On June 27, 2023, a group of scuba divers in Taiwan came across something straight out of a legend. Right in front of them was an oarfish, a creature most people never see alive. These deep-sea giants usually stay far below the surface, only showing up when they wash ashore. But this time, it was floating lifelessly, barely moving. Its long silver body had strange marks on it, making the sight even more eerie. It was right alongside the divers, and get this, it was about 36 feet long. Seeing one up close like this was a once-in-a-lifetime moment. No wonder sailors once thought these were sea monsters. Unseen colossus. A viral video sent the internet into a frenzy. It showed a massive sea creature, one that didn't match anything known to science. But the real shock? Inside its open mouth, barely visible, was a scuba diver, alive. The sheer size of the creature made the diver look tiny, almost unreal. Speculation spread like wildfire. Some believed it was proof of an undiscovered being. Others linked it to the mysterious bloop, a powerful underwater sound detected by NOAA in 1997. Back then, some thought it came from a massive marine creature, but scientists later dismissed it as shifting ice. Now, with this footage, those old theories were coming back. Had NOAA been wrong? And more importantly, what happened to the diver? Venomous visitor. If you think sharks are the only risk for humans in the ocean, think again. A diver captured footage that sparked a whole new fear, one that might make some people rethink diving. It wasn't a shark or a giant squid, it was a sea snake. These creatures are highly venomous, but they don't charge unprovoked. Most of the time, they're just curious. But still, imagine being underwater and a sea snake comes rushing toward you. Staying calm is the best option, but in that moment, would you be able to? Plant-like being. On December 1st, 2024, in the waters of Lembas Strait, North Sulawesi, Indonesia, divers captured a rare sight. At a depth of 7 meters, a giant frogfish was seen doing something unexpected. It yawned. These creatures are masters of disguise, often blending in so well that they look like part of the ocean floor. But this wasn't just a random stretch. The yawn helped clear its gills, a crucial movement to keep its breathing in check. Despite its stillness, the frogfish relies on such actions to stay alive. A brief but fascinating glimpse into the hidden life of this ocean predator. Cryptid elbow. The world is full of mysterious creatures that humans have yet to discover. Strange sightings are reported from all over, and some remain unexplained to this day. Back in 2015, off the coast of Angola, BP workers were filming 4,000 feet under the sea with a remotely operated vehicle when they captured something bizarre. A wriggling, spaghetti-like creature drifted through the dark waters, moving like a floating tangle of worms. The strange sight earned it the nickname Flying Spaghetti Monster. However, scientists later identified it as a rare siphonophore. It looked like a tangled mess because its long feeding tentacles were pulled up close to its body. Hilarious truth. Divers were left horrified after spotting a shark lurking beneath the water. For a moment, it seemed like they were about to become its next meal. But then, they realized the truth. Lake Neuchâtel in Switzerland is a popular swimming spot, but not everyone knows what's hiding below. A massive statue of a great white shark sits at the bottom, perfectly positioned to give swimmers a shock. With its sharp teeth and fins angled as if ready to charge, it's fooled plenty of unsuspecting swimmers. Even its support structure makes it seem like it's floating in the water. It's a harmless prank, but for those who don't know, it's enough to make them think twice before diving in again. Giant octopus encounter. While diving off the coast of a remote island, a diver stumbled upon something that wasn't on his radar. He came face to face with an octopus, but not just any octopus. This one was massive. Its limbs stretched out far beyond what you'd expect, and it inched closer, curiously extending one of its tentacles. It wasn't trying to flee like other deep-sea creatures. Now, people have different theories about what this creature was. Some say it's a mutated octopus, affected by environmental changes or some genetic glitch. Others think it could be an entirely new species, hiding in the deep, with behaviors unlike the ones we know. Either way, it's safe to say this octopus wasn't ordinary. Whale mother. On his way to Roca Partida, a diver came across a family of humpback whales and heard the news. The mother had lost her calf. When he reached her, it was clear she was in distress, just floating aimlessly in the water. It wasn't the first time animals had turned to humans for help, and this was one of those rare moments. The whales seemed to be pleading. The diver knew he couldn't leave, so with no hesitation, he set off to find the lost calf, hoping to reunite them. Dolphin show-off. A diver entered the water, with his eyes searching and hoping for a dolphin. It wasn't guaranteed, as dolphins on the reef move on their own terms. But soon, the sound of bubbles caught the dolphin's attention. It swam over, eager to play. What happened next was pure chaos. It circled, twisting, turning, zipping in and out so fast, he could barely keep up. The faster the diver turned, the faster the dolphin went. It was dizzying, a blur of motion until it vanished just as quickly. The encounter left the diver breathless, wondering if it had even happened. Thankfully, the movement was captured on camera and kept amazing the onlookers. Monkfish. About 80 miles off Gibraltar, an ROV captured a pretty creepy sight. On the keel of the HMS Ark Royal, a monkfish sat still, looking almost unreal. Its wide mouth and strange filament-like lure hanging between its eyes made it look downright eerie. The fish didn't move much, but the lure swayed, ready to attract other fish. Unfortunately, this unusual creature is in trouble. Bottom trawling, slow reproduction, and high demand for its delicate flesh are causing its numbers to drop. Big fin squid. A diver had an unbelievable encounter deep in the ocean. From the darkest parts of the sea, he spotted a creature so strange, it looked like it belonged on another planet. It was a big fin squid, with huge fins larger than its body, and long arms that stretched over 7 meters, gently waving in the water. When the diver got close enough to snap a few pictures, the world finally got to see one of the ocean's rarest creatures. These incredible videos prove that some sea creatures are even stranger than we could ever imagine. Crab encounter. A marine biologist had an amazing encounter off the coast of Victoria's Mornington Peninsula. While diving, she stumbled upon something that gave her quite a surprise. Giant spiders crawling across the sea floor. And these weren't just any spiders. They were massive, with legs stretching out as they moved around. She realized they were gathering for a molting season, a time when they shed their old shells and grow new ones. It was a weird but fascinating sight. The biologist knew not to get too close, so she kept her distance, just watching in awe as these giant sea spiders prepared for their big change. Narrow escape. Goliath groupers are usually calm and non-violent, but divers are always told to be cautious around these giant fish. One diver witnessed a grouper initially keeping its cool, swimming near him at the bottom of the water. It's tough to say what changes the grouper's mood, but it might have been the school of fish near them. After some peaceful time together, the grouper suddenly charged and bit the diver's head. At one point, it had its entire mouth around his skull. Thankfully, he was okay, but those few seconds must have felt like a lifetime. The only real damage was his messed up goggles, which, considering how much worse it could have been, wasn't so bad. Still, it must have been a pretty terrifying experience. Inflating defense. A group of divers was exploring the waters at Papahanaumokuakea Marine National Monument when they spotted something truly bizarre. The creature had a pouch-like mouth that inflated quickly, giving it a cartoonish, almost Muppet-like look. Its body swelled up, making it appear much larger than it actually was. As it shook and puffed itself up, the divers were amazed by its odd shape. Finally, they realized what they were looking at. It was a gulper eel, showing off its unique defense mechanism in the most surprising way. Sleeping formation. This time, the divers witnessed a sight few have ever seen. At first, all they could make out were strange shapes standing upright in the water, but as they got closer, the scene became clearer. It was a mother sperm whale and her calf, both peacefully sleeping among the members of their social group. The whales rested in a columnar formation, their bond as strong as the ocean itself. It was a rare, almost surreal moment, one that not many are lucky enough to experience. Swordfish. While working from a two-man bell off the coast, the diver had a close encounter with a swordfish. Attached to an umbilical supplying his gas, he was using a rebreather system when the swordfish charged at him. Its bill got stuck in the rebreather and thrashed violently in an attempt to free itself. He was unable to reach the situation behind him and managed to get back to the bell. As he was about to enter, the swordfish finally freed itself and swam off. The incident, which happened at a depth of 1.5 meters, was captured on video by an ROV monitoring his safety and later went viral. Giant hawksbill turtle. Oceans are full of giants, not all predators, but some gentle ones. While diving near the seafloor, the diver spotted something huge gliding gracefully through the water. It wasn't just any turtle, it was a hawksbill turtle, a critically endangered species. With only a few of these turtles left in the world, he knew how rare this encounter was. As the turtle moved slowly, it was clear just how lucky the diver was to witness such a breathtaking and endangered creature up close in its natural habitat. Massive sunfish.
Seeing this was a great, rare experience, and the footage is absolutely incredible.
While diving in the deep waters off the coast of Portugal, a diver came across an astonishing sight. A massive creature hovered in the water, its body flat and almost circular, with a mouth that stayed open as if unblinking. It seemed otherworldly, its size making it look like a creature from a distant planet. As the diver got closer, the true scale of this sea giant became clear. This was no ordinary fish. It was a sunfish, a giant of the ocean, measuring 15 by 12 feet and weighing up to 5,000 pounds. Despite its fearsome look, the sunfish is harmless to humans and known for its curiosity around divers.
It can get literally the size of a truck. They look intimidating, but they're completely harmless to humans. They're actually curious with divers.
Escape attempt. A diver was exploring the coral reef when he noticed something moving swiftly away from him, attempting to hide. Curious, he hurried to track it down. As he got closer, he discovered the creature. It was a moray eel. Known for its size, it can reach lengths of up to 3 meters, 9.8 feet. And now, let us move on to our subscriber pick of the day. In Australia, an explorer was filming the colorful coral reef when something strange caught his eye. At first, it appeared to be just another fish, but as it came into focus, he realized something was off. The upper half of the creature resembled a human, with arms and a head that looked almost lifelike. Before he could fully process what he saw, it quickly swam away, disappearing into the reef. Was it a mermaid or something else?